We're live.
All right, we are live. Jesse Navarette, welcome to the show, brother.
What up, brother? Thank you, man. Thank you so much for having me on, man. I'm super excited to chat with you, man.
Nice, dude. How you been, man?
I've been great, man. I've been great. I just tonight I played a couple of hours of volleyball, and it's definitely a game changer for me in my life versus 5 years ago. But yeah, man, it's been great to say the least.
Cool, man. That's awesome. I know you've been getting into it lately in the last few months.
Gosh, have I ever? It's it's such a shift in my paradigm and in my life. I go back, like I said, to over 5 years ago, where being on the beach this consistent and these many hours was just something I would not. I'd be on the strand. I'd be walking on the strand, but to be on the beach and playing volleyball never even caught my radar because it just wasn't a part of my lifestyle, nor would I've been able to do the things that I can do now back then.
Right. That's freaking awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, dude, thanks for being on the show. One of the reasons why I asked you if you're able to be one of my guests is because I think you have a pretty inspirational story, and it didn't quite start that way in the beginning, but today your journey has been amazing, and I think I wanted to share and talk to you and share your story because I think it can definitely inspire others who watch the show, and we should probably go from the very beginning, because what I usually do when I go with Dustin or go with Wyatt, I always say, okay, tell us your story, right? Tell me your story, your real story. But I think in this particular case, at least with just you, I think we should go back to the moment that we met and how that came about. Because I think that alone is a great story.
That is a great story, man. Oh my gosh, jeez. You know what's interesting, man, is that you have known me more than anybody in LA. You've known me since I was 18, dude. I am 39 now. You know me for 21 years.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Wow. Wow.
so let's.
Wow.
Okay, go ahead.
I just tells me I'm really old. We're both old. Shit. We're not 18 anymore.
We're not 18, brother. You're not in your 20s anymore.
So dude, let's take it back. Let's take it back to the very beginning. Let's take it back to how we met.
Sure.
The floor is yours, brother.
Well, I was in college back then, and one of I wish we would have had the Mark Zuckerberg idea, but we didn't. That's okay.
I know.
But one of the most popular things back then, we're talking 1998, 1999, it was just surfacing through the internet, were chat rooms. And let alone the chat rooms, it was actually even voice chat rooms, right, where you could go in there and speak and and do all of that. And obviously, your subscribers might not know, but I am a vocalist. I love singing. That's how we ended up connecting. And it sounds so funny nowadays, right? I guess it wouldn't sound nowadays. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's the norm now, right? People meet online. We met online.
Back then it wasn't the norm. Back then it was
exactly.
It was
yeah.
You don't meet anybody online. You don't do that.
Exactly. It wasn't even on people's radars to take that, to that to connect that way. Right. But I remember we had a couple of conversations, and there was another person in there, a female, and we would go back and forth, and depending, it was like you were recruiting not people, but you were recruiting talented people per se. And I guess you're still doing that even today with the stories that you share on your channel, but sorry, your podcast. But the interesting thing is that for some reason I gravitated to you. You sounded like a cool cat, and obviously I'm not seeing your face, so
Right.
I'm
And
just
likewise.
listening.
Right. Likewise.
Exactly. We're just vibing on each other's like, hey, this dude seems like a cool cat, man. Like, he
Right.
seems cool.
Right.
And then I let you know where I lived. I said, well, I'm in Long Beach, man. I actually, I'm here from school. And I think we got into some conversation about that. And at the time, remember that we had a mutual female friend, and I
Right.
was actually interested in her. I
Right.
was 18. I was 18.
Right.
So I don't even know how old she was. But I was like, yeah, is she hot? And you were like, I don't even know if you had met her by then, dude. But
Right. Exactly. Because if I remember right, the chat room didn't have faces. It
no,
did. All it had was names. It wasn't even the real name of the person, and it was to the very right. You could hear everyone speaking. I don't even remember the name of the room, but I do remember it was like a Yahoo chat. Correct?
Latino chat for you or something
Yeah.
like that. It was
Something
some
like
sort of
that. Right.
Hispanic room or Latino
Right.
room.
So
Yeah.
I remember you kept going into the room and you just started singing. And I remember, who the fuck is this guy singing? This motherfucker just coming into a room, popping vocals. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then
Oh
I
man.
would go to another room that was very similar because I was new to this whole chat thing. And then sure enough, there he is. I hear the voice. I'm like, this motherfucker's in another room singing now. I was like, what is he doing? I was like, you were jumping from room to room, serenading girls is what you were doing.
Yeah,
It,
absolutely.
yeah, and it didn't. I didn't catch it that quick, and then I was like, oh, this guy's funny. This guy's going to each room serenading girls, and then when each time you would sing, I would see the responses. Oh my god! Oh, you have such a beautiful voice. Oh, sing. I was like, this guy, this is play over here, yeah.
It
So
was my secret weapon, man.
it was,
It was what I had to offer,
and it
and
worked, and it was so well.
it was fastest and quickest way to get a female's attention, especially when they can't see your facial features.
Right,
I mean, I had a baby face back then. I had no mustache. No, I had nothing.
right,
But it was, for me, my weapon, right? Against, say, someone that could be eloquently speaking to a female or, drop some pictures or something like that.
right,
That was my super power, if you will.
right, right.
And that's what I would do, because I knew that the moment that I sang, immediately some women would answer like, "Oh gosh, what's up?" Or "You sound so nice."
Right.
And for me, obviously, it was an ego booster.
Right.
I enjoyed the attention that came with that, even if
Of
it
course.
was via the internet.
Right. Of
Um,
course.
and that, yeah, man, it was definitely something that I would do, and I would do that not just in these internet chat rooms, but I did it also in social settings. A buddy of mine that I was in college with, I remember we were hanging out in the little quad area. His name was Sean, and he was like, he was be like, yo, Jay, sing. And I'm like, dog, I'm not gonna sing to you. What's wrong with you, man? I
Right.
don't sing to dude. He's like, yo, man, just sing right now. And I'm like, man, this dude's weird, but all right. So I started singing. I don't even know. Oh, you know what? It was If I Ever Fall in Love.
Okay.
Da doo 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 doo. So I started doing that,
Right.
and a flock of women, just as I was doing ooh da doo 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 doo, the women were walking by. I don't know, it was like 5 or 6 women that were just walking by and stopped dead on their tracks and
Right.
just turned and
Right.
looked.
Right.
And they were like, damn, is that you? So
Right.
that's the first time that I found out that I could use that to my advantage, that I could, for lack of a better word, pimp out my voice, because that's what I would do.
You did it really well. Now let's fast forward to the very moment where I don't know how it started. I don't know if you initiated it or maybe I think I initiated, because I think it was somewhere along the lines like, hey, bro, we need to link up. I have a friend of mine in the music
Joey.
industry, Joey, who is all in hip hop, and I want you to meet this dude. You know, I grew up with them, and then I think that's how it started, right?
Yeah. That's exactly how it started. So I said, yeah, man, but I was young. I was like, dang, what I tell to like, let's meet up. Like, how does this even work? Because again, this was not the norm. I didn't know how any of this worked.
It wasn't.
So
it was not even 1% of the people met online. It was like maybe 0.5%.
Yeah.
We hear on the news, you don't meet people online. They're serial killers. They're crazy.
Yeah.
It was the most taboo thing you can do. And even if you tell a friend, hey, bro, I met this girl. I met this dude online. We're gonna link up. Everyone would give you that weird fucking look. Like, are you fucking out of your mind? Are you fucking serious? And that's
like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right. And I'll be honest, when I spoke with Joey, when I called him, I told him, and he was like, oh, dude, how'd you meet him at club or where? I go, nah. And because we were like best friends growing up, I told him the truth. I was like, hey, I met him on Yahoo Chat. He gave me that look like, what? What you mean? Y'all fucking online? And he was like, oh, my ninja, I don't know, man.
Which is, all right, so here's the weirdest thing.
Doing that, son?
Well, here's the weirdest thing. Like, obviously, back then, if it was, some sort of romantic connection, if we were seeking each other for romantic reasons, right? That would have been understandable. Like, all right, but this was not the case. Neither you or I were interested in that. We were just connecting because of the music.
Exactly.
So it was even more strange that, like, wait, wait, hold on. So it's not a chick.
Exactly.
It's a dude.
Right.
But it's nothing, no funny business.
Right.
It's music. So it was completely out of the element of how you would connect. People say nowadays, like, hey, man, I got a friend. Now you got the cell phone. You got such easy access. I'm going to text you their number. Hit them up. Connect with them. Oh, here's his YouTube. Here's his Instagram. Here's his Facebook. Oh, here's his Snapchat. Whatever the case, the platforms that we have available are so versatile that back then, all we had was this. There was nothing.
Right. It's like today, everyone's meeting online. Tinder, everyone's doing that. So, like, no one would do that. So, So then what happened after that is, like, I drove to Long Beach. I drove to your school, and I was so freaked out. As I told you, I borrowed my friend's weapon. I brought, and you brought what?
I brought a freaking knife.
I brought a 9 with me. I called my friend, yo, bro, can I borrow your 9? And he's like, what the fuck? I'm doing this thing, and I had it under my seat. I was that scared. And I remember parking, and I remember you walking up, and it was the most awkward feeling ever. That moment for about, how long do you think it was? Maybe a minute or two?
I don't know, man. Maybe you said you were coming over, or you know what? No, because you had to check in the front office. They had public safety.
That's right.
You had to check in. They would call my room and say, "Hey, somebody's here to see you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, man, it's cool." So when you were telling your friend, I told my friend. I was like, "Yo, man, I have this dude that I'm meeting, man," and he was like. Are you gay? Or I'm like, no. He has music and he has music connections, and I love singing, so I'm gonna meet him, but I don't have anything. What if he's crazy? He was like, bro, what if he is crazy? And it was a rocker dude, a big white dude, big rocker dude. Gosh, I forgot his name, man, but he was like, yo, man, I'm gonna take care of you right now. He gave me a butterfly knife, which were illegal. A butterfly knife. He was like, you just flipped this bad boy. It was huge, man. He flipped it out. It was some sort of knife that I was like, all right, let's rock and roll with this. And I put that and I brought it with me because I did not know if you were maybe a serial killer, a molester. I had no idea what your intentions were. Going off what we talked about on our chat room.
Right.
And that was it, man. That was it. And so what happened after?
So it was awkward for 5 minutes, and then, dude, we started talking, ever since then, we were friends.
Yep.
We became friends ever since
Yep.
then, and that was
Now,
many, many years ago.
the cool thing is that, like, obviously nothing. I don't know how your friend Joey is, but nothing necessarily came
From that,
from that meet. But what did come from that was our friendship, because we're
right?
like, all right, it's cool, man. This guy's a cool cat, man. You
Yeah,
introduced me to Dustin, to
right,
other people, other connections, and it flourished from there, man. And it's
right.
been 21 years, man.
Long time.
21 freaking years, dude. We're definitely not. We're not young, man. We're not spring chicken, man. We old.
So
We
then
hella old.
the next phase in our journey as friends, I know, uh, you know, we hung out, we went out, you met my friends, I met some of your friends, and one thing back in those days that I do remember is that, in going into, you know, some of the challenges that you had back then, uh, there was a time where you were a little self-conscious. Is that the correct word?
Yeah, yeah.
And this was also around the time where we both kind of got into salsa, the whole scene around the same time. I
Yep.
know with me it was because of Shanda. We used to dance with salsa brava, and
Yeah.
and then you kind of around, was it Shanda or was it Sam? It was, I forgot the story, but
You know what, man? It was a little bit of both, because I
yeah,
kind of tagged along with you.
right,
But the one person who, you know, if I could say, definitely. Well, there's. I'll break it down to four different people that definitely influenced me getting into salsa. One was you. You and Shanda and your guys' connection to it, I got a little more interested. Matter of fact, we started listening to more salsa. I grew up listening to salsa music.
right,
So I'd go to your house and I'd record these CDs. Remember back in the day,
right,
CDs. So you record all these CDs,
right,
and I do like a mix. And you sometimes, man, I'd sit there for hours. You'd be like, bro, I gotta go to bed. I'm like, yeah, just one more, just one more, just one more. So
right,
I'd,
right.
you'd let me go in there and download
I
all
was
these
too much
music
in my raves, man. I was too much in my techno and hip hop.
exactly. You were like, yeah, I found some stuff. This stuff is cool, but whatever.
Yeah,
So like I said, you, our mutual friend Ismael, um,
yeah.
our mutual friend Caesar, and another person who was very instrumental, and I can remember as it was yesterday, man. His name is Yaharli. Remember Yaharli?
Oh yeah, Snickers.
Snickers. So Yaharli, um, I remember I started going to the Marriott. So I mean, my uh, uh, I guess my birth into salsa was June 6th of 2005.
Right.
That was the day of the Puerto Rican festival,
Oh,
and
right,
I remember that day I was a wallflower,
right,
and I decided that day that I no longer wanted to be a wallflower. That if I ever came to one of these next events, I was going to learn how to dance. I was going to be a badass. The next month, I ended up taking this 8-hour boot camp with this woman named Edie, the salsa freak, and I went off to Stevens thinking I could dance and thinking I was the best. And I used to look at women like, oh my gosh, you don't know how to dance. And that's where my salsa birth started. And I started dancing, and Caesar and I went for like a year straight, day in, day out, Monday to Sunday, just every night going out. I don't even know how we did it. But the reason why your Harley became very instrumental is he kind of took me under his wing and showed me the spots, the venues to go to, the people that he knew. He introduced me, kind of like with you and your friends and Joey and all of these people, Dustin, Cully.
cool.
That's how it all started. And he was definitely someone that was instrumental. Back before him, I was very regimented in what I did. Everything had a time limit. Everything had. I'd shower from 8 to 8:30. I'd be reading from 8:45 to 9:30. I'd go to bed at 9:45. I mean, everything was blocked out.
Right.
When I got into the salsa, it sucked me in, man.
Changed. But
It's
even
changed.
before you got into with you got into your Harley under his wing, I remember we went to Sportsman's a couple of times, and I remember
Yeah.
how, and we both didn't know how to dance at the time, but I remember that time you would have big sweaters on, and it just was like, I was like, I don't know, I don't want to dance. And just you were a different person, you
Yeah.
know. And if you can kind of tell the listeners your journey as far as what are some of the challenges that you went through back then.
You
Yeah.
know, I don't know when well, I mean, to be honest, I can go back and even, it's funny because I see these memes online that say, you remember when in high school we used to think we were fat and now we're actually fat?
Right.
So that was kind of the same thing for me. When I moved to Long Beach on my own by myself, obviously back then I didn't have structure in how I ate or anything like that. So the freshman 15 for me for college became the freshman 25. It wasn't 15 pounds that I gained. I gained like 25, 30 pounds my years in college. And I think that's where the snowball effect started happening. I remember in 2006, I actually got into a relationship with this beautiful woman. And we were together for about 2 years. But in those 2 years, I went from 230 pounds, 220 pounds, all the way up to 280 pounds back when we broke up in 2008.
Was
And
that
then,
was that the biggest that you've weighed or the heaviest at one point? Was it 280?
yes, yeah, that was my heaviest I'd ever been in my life.
Okay.
And to touch back to going back to the Sportman Lodge example that you gave, I didn't feel comfortable just because I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin.
Right.
It was something that I knew I had to change, but when you're in that state, when you're that big, you're like, all right, I gotta fix it, I gotta fix it. But fixing it never comes around, right?
Right.
So you just kind of keep going with it. Unfortunately, I masked all my weight under, well, I thought, and actually consequently to belief, friends, if you're a little bit on the heavier side, if you're fluffy, as I like I hate the word FAT, so I use fluffy in replace of it. But
Right.
if you're a little fluffy and you're wearing bigger clothes, it's not hiding anything. It's actually making you look a lot bigger. I
Right.
promise you that. I went through that phase. So I would try to hide behind these different sweaters, these different shirts that were bigger because I thought, well, nobody can see. But bigger size always makes you look bigger. So don't ever buy into you gotta wear what works best with your body is now my motto.
Okay.
But I'd go to these places and I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing something tighter because I felt like I looked like a stuffed sausage. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna. I don't want to do that. But to bring it back to what you were saying, 2008 was my biggest. I was 280 pounds, and I remember, too, I was trying to have a challenge with our mutual friend Chris, and I managed to lose 20 something pounds in about 2 or 3 months. But what people fail to understand is that when you lose weight at a rapid rate without any structure, um, the chances of you sticking to that which got you there are next to none. So what ends up happening is your weight ends up coming back like a bat out of hell.
Right.
It's just what happens, unfortunately. So and obviously we have pictures of my progression through with your friendship, and I remember some of the pictures in 2008 and 2009. We'd be at the warehouse at all these different places, and man, I knew that I was overweight, but I just didn't know how bad or how overweight I really was.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. Right.
Um, and it was a frustrating journey, Tanya, because it I just it's like you know that there's something wrong, but you don't know how to manage it because everything that you tried has literally failed. And gosh, man, we're not even gonna go that far. You remember saying, "Hey, man, let's go running, let's go
Right.
doing this, let's go doing." I mean, I I recall a time that you and I went running to El Camino, the
Right.
El Camino track,
Right.
and I got you were trying to push me in your way that you knew, like, don't give up, you can do this.
Right.
And in that, in the midst of that, I was so angry that I got emotional, I started crying, not because I was feeling bad for myself, because you were being too mean. It's
Right.
simply I was just so frustrated because it was like you were telling me, man, you can do this, but I wouldn't pull through. I'd push back, or I'd start walking and be like, come on, no walking, bro. Come on, aren't you tired of being big? Aren't you tired of being fat? They'd
Right.
be like, yeah, I'm tired of being fat. But yet nothing changed, man, which when
Right.
you're at that weight, man, it's one of the most frustrating things, as I'm sure you can attest.
Right.
Um, when you're trying all these different things, man, and nothing is panning out, man. And for your life, you feel like, I mean, I could go through a list. I've once counted out how many different programs and diets and pills I tried, and I stopped at number 35. So
Wow.
I definitely gave a lot of things a run for their money. And I don't want to bash anyone or any company, but I did try some of the most popular programs that are out there right now, man. And nothing, nothing really seemed to help me in that aspect. My Bluetooth died. Um,
I
which
remember.
is frustrating.
No, I also remember the time where Dustin was also
Yeah.
trying to give you some encouragement, but then it got to a point where Dustin was like frustrated. It's like, dude, come on, you can do this. And it. And I remember all the different diets and programs that you got into, and
Yeah.
it was so many that I even thought to myself, dude, he's got to find a way. He's got to find a way. And and then suddenly you found it. Like what
Yeah.
what was the I guess the turning point? What was it? Of
What
course,
was the
diet. It was the program, but what was it? I know it was more than just that, because also it's a more of a mental state and trying to be motivated to do and lose the weight. But what was the turning point for you?
man, I don't share this with a whole lot of people, man, but there was
The
um
world's about to listen to this right now.
well, I mean, they can listen to it, and I'm sure they can appreciate, but especially if you are, and I'm sorry, man, I'm just gonna get my headsets because I can't hear you very well. Um I'm sure they can appreciate, even if you've ever been in this position, you got to be able to quiet down the voices, because if you don't, they will win. And I was in a really dark place, man. And I've shared this with maybe 5 or 6 people ever in my life, but March 12th of 2013, I wanted to take my life, um,
What?
because
I didn't know that, dude. That's this
yeah,
first time. The first time you're telling me, you're sharing that. Yeah.
yeah, man. I don't share that with a whole lot of people, man. But I was just I was frustrated more than anything, and I remember. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear.
Okay. I remember I was looking in the mirror, and I I remember saying to myself, "Man, I think I'm better off dead than alive. I think I'm worth more gone." I didn't use the words dead. I used the words gone. I'd say, "Gosh, man, I think you're better off gone than being around here." Um, and thank God that saner heads prevailed, because obviously I didn't go through with it, man. But I didn't want to be here, man. You get to a point where you get so frustrated after you've tried so many things, man. You've done so many things. You've had people encourage you. You've had people invest time. I mean, I won't even go that far. Caesar, for 2 months straight, he took me to work out with him, and I'd be pushing, and I'd be trying to do this and trying to do that, and there was just no avail. There was no resolve, and
Yeah.
it was something frustrating. One of the most frustrating things for me to ever undergo, because like I said, after everyone kind of loses faith to a certain degree, maybe not to my face, but they just kind of let go. And you look, man, that's not the only hits that I received because of being overweight. I mean, look, man, when you're overweight, man, you get the brunt of everything, of everyone. You're the joke of everyone,
Right.
because you're bigger. And it's funny to a certain degree, but they don't understand that those just create scars inside of you, scars in your heart, scars in your feelings, scars in your personality, in the person that you are.
Right.
I remember this woman, that I remember her telling me that she liked the way that she says, "You're such a nice guy. You have a beautiful smile. I love the way that you are." And I was like, because I told her, I said, "Listen, I'm digging you, and I'm really feeling the connection. So I'd love to try to explore and see where it can go if you're open to that."
Right.
And her reply was like, "Oh, you're so nice. You're so attractive. You're a great dancer. You're good looking, but I'm just not attracted to you physically."
Okay.
And
Right.
that just broke me, man. And I was like, dang. And even then, and
Right.
this is not even when I was that big, but even then, I I still couldn't find something that would help me. And so when long story made short, it was so a year later from my thoughts that I had in 2013, March 12th of 2013. A year later, I was actually taking a leadership program, and one of our things was to say out loud our goals and what we wanted to do. And I remember I said, I want to lose 42 pounds in 90 days. That was my goal. That's something that I wanted, and that's what I was going to go after. And I remember our facilitator, he said, "Listen, man, if you're serious about getting healthy, my nephew, he's a health coach, man, and he helps people lose weight." And I'm like, his nephew, look, he was just he was like 6'5". He did never look like he was heavy ever in his life.
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey, man, so your uncle says that you help people lose weight. Is that right?" He was like, "Yeah, man. Are you looking to lose weight?" Well, wow. You see me here big as a tank. Like, yeah, I'm looking into maybe,
You cracking jokes.
oh, it's like, dude, come on, man. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. I was the size of the elephant, man. So I was like, yeah, dude, I want to lose some significant weight.
Right.
He said, "All right, cool. Well, let me know what when you're free so we can chat." And I was like, "All right, wait, do I have to take stuff?" He's like, "Let's chat. I want to know what your health goals are." I'm like,
Nice.
"I just told you I want to lose weight. I'm fat." And he was like, okay.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. Are you not?
Yeah.
Hello. Come on.
I'm like, how do you help people? This does not help me at all. This is making me frustrated. So, anyways, we had a conversation, and he did go through my health goals. Like, all right, so what do you want to accomplish within your health? Which is, now something that I myself do. But
Right.
I was like, I want to lose weight. He was like, all right, well, what does that mean? And I was like, bitch, I want to lose a lot of weight. It was like, okay.
I could see you get into his ear. I want to lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, because you know me.
Motherfucker.
I don't want to fucking talk about my weight. It was the most embarrassing thing for me to talk about is my fucking weight. So
Right.
I was like, I want to fucking lose weight, bitch. That's what I want to do. You want to ask me what I want to do.
And he comes back, what are your goals?
Yeah, like,
What are your
I was like, motherfucker, I want to lose some fucking weight, man. You do this shit. Come on, help me out, bro. They're going to fucking spell this shit out. Come on now. So he ended up saying, all right. So I gave him a number. I gave him a ridiculous number. I said, I want to lose, for me, I said, dude, I want to lose 150 pounds. And he was like, okay. I want to lose it like this. He was like, okay, well, there's different things that need to happen in order for that to happen. But is that your ultimate way? And I said, look, dude, I'll be honest with you. I've been in the 290s and the 300s. My highest was 320 pounds, 318 pounds. I said, I've been in the 300s and the 290s for the last 2 years. If you could just help me get out of the 290s and into the 280s, man, I'd be so grateful, man. And he was like, okay, let's shoot for that. So I ended up, let's see. So I started my health journey April 1st of 2014. That day I weighed in at, and I can shoot you some pictures of where exactly I was at. That day I weighed in at 301 pounds.
Okay.
And, obviously that prior to that, I'd gone to my doctor and we had talked about gastric bypass.
Right.
Because he was saying,
yeah, I remember that.
He was like, dude, you're just big. My triglycerides were off the scales. I was like at 420 with my triglycerides, which any nurse will tell you that is not good, especially for someone at my age.
Right.
I was borderline diabetic. I was
wow.
My blood pressure. So all of these ailments that come at a later age were now in my face at the age of 34. Right. So I remember when the doctor was like, "Hey, listen, dude, if you don't change something, you're gonna need medication for this stuff because your weight's gonna keep going up." And it's interesting because people think that when you're overweight that you're just a lazy ass and that no, I promise you, we're not. We want something to work. We just haven't found it. And It's not like we sit there and I guess you could say the theory that all big people eat mountains and mountains of food is very incorrect. I mean, to completely debunk that, it's not that we eat mountains and mountains of foods, is that sometimes we don't eat at all and we might have one small mountain of food for the day, which is not the best for your body.
Except for that occasional, that one Jack in the Box moment.
where you order two Jumbo Jacks.
Every blue moon. We had one of those moments.
So. Oh gosh, yes, I remember. Yes, clearly I remember those. And I'll give you a story of what I used to. All right, so I'll get into it. When I used to go to Taco Bell, I used to pretend that I was ordering for two people, and I would get on there and I'd say, I'd pretend that I was on the phone, so I'd grab a phone, right? Let's just pretend that this is my phone, and I'd be like, "Yeah, hi. Can you hold on?" They'd be like, "Hi, thank you for coming to talk about. How can I help you?" I'd be like, "Yeah, hold. Can you give me 1 second? Hey, man. So what do you want? I'm at Taco Bell. Okay. Let me get two double-decker Supremes. Okay. And what else do you want? Okay. 2 bean and cheese burritos, 2 chicken burritos, and what? And a what now? Okay. And a Mexican pizza, and a large Diet Coke, easy ice.
Right.
Is that all you want? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. All right, man. That completes my order. Right. I would pretend that I was talking to someone else because I was embarrassed that they were gonna see how much food this freaking guy was gonna eat. Which now I think about it, nobody really cares about that because that's just it's words in the wind. It's a thought that just comes in and goes out. But back then, I was like, dang, and that's almost 3,000 calories in one shot.
That's a lot.
It's a massive amount of food. And the worst thing of all of this, it was a catch-22 because I would have this right around 3:00 when I would be done with my shows. So because of the amount,
3 in the morning.
3 in the morning.
Yeah, right. Wow. Okay. Right.
Because of the amount of food that I had ate, the acidity would always creep up and I would choke. I would start choking because of the acidity. So I would have to.
Oh crap! That's right.
Yeah, I would have to go to sleep like this.
Right.
I would have to sleep sitting up because if I laid down, I would start choking from my own acidity, from my own throw up, if you will, which was just the worst, man. I do not miss that any day of the week, man.
So what year was this? What year was that? Do you think?
This was probably 2013, man.
Okay.
This was 2013.
So,
Um,
so what turned the corner for you? What was it? I mean, because there was a time where you were just Jesse. What and then one month or a few months, you just told me about a program that you got into, and then suddenly out of nowhere, you started shedding the weight.
yeah.
And so, what was it? What turned the corner? Was it the program? Was it that individual coach that helped you out? What was it that changed? Because in my mind, I thought to myself, like, he found the secret formula. Because I've been trying to help Jesse. Dustin's been trying to help Jesse. There's countless people,
Multiple.
that were trying to help in some sort of way. But then suddenly you found the formula. And what was it in your mind?
Man, it was a combination of everything that you just said. Definitely a health coach. My health coach was like accountability for me.
Okay.
But even more important than that was I was just sick and tired, man. And I'll take you just, it was what really made me like, I'm not going to do this was we go back to my voice, man. I was doing a show and my buddy, we were doing a show together. He was a little tipsy. Well, he was a lot tipsy. So his notes were going all over the place. He just wasn't singing, but he was bringing it. And the only difference between him and I was that he's thinner than I was. That's it. That was the only difference. I felt like I was younger, had better vocal abilities, had more hair, whatever the case might have been.
Right.
He had people eating out of his hand. And that just for me, vanity, it struck something in me. And I'm like, hell no. It's because in my mind, it was because I was bigger. Whether that was the truth or not, who knows? For me, that was a catalyst. That night, I called my health coach, my buddy Eric, and I said, "Hey, man, I'm ready to do whatever it needs to. Whatever I got to do, I'm doing this." Because I kind of shined him off after we talked. I was like, I don't think this is going to be for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, nah, he's not listening to me, man. He's just not hearing me, man. I want to lose fucking weight, and he's not listening to me. But what ended up happening is I was like, okay, I want to do this. So, and it's now something, 5 years later, it's been 5 years since I shed the weight. But so my first week getting into this program, I ended up losing 15 pounds.
In how long?
In a week.
Nice. Okay.
So a lot of people, when they hear that, they're like, is that even healthy? Look, walking around with 100+ pounds on your body is not healthy any day of the week. That's what my doctor told me.
Right.
So he wasn't surprised that I lost this much because I had a lot of weight. I had a lot of weight to lose.
Right.
So my first week, I ended up losing 15 pounds. My second week, 9 pounds. My third week, 6 pounds. My fourth week, 4 pounds. My first month doing this program, I ended up losing 34 pounds.
Woo!
That was, dude. I remember I told my coach if he could help me just get out of the 290s, I'd be happy. If he could just help me lose 5-10 pounds a month, I'd be so grateful. I did 34 pounds in a month.
And this was 2014 or 2015?
2014.
Wow.
2014.
Okay.
And then, as my journey goes, I ended up losing 90 pounds in 8 months, and I've kept, over 90% of it off. It's been 5 years.
So that was the first, 10 months, right? Correct?
It was 8 months, man.
Wow.
90 pounds in 8 months, man. And so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what I was going to ask, was it a combination of the health coach, or was it the eating? Was it the program? What really helped? I know that you mentioned that coach really helped you out, but what other things actually helped in that respect?
So, in my opinion, and obviously I'm biased because I now coach for this company and this program,
right.
I feel that we've definitely found the fountain of weight loss because our program was designed by a doctor, Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson. He was one of the top 10 critical physicians, board certified in the entire U.S. back when, gosh, I don't know, like 20, 30 years ago. And here's the thing. Here's what I've learned, that it doesn't matter what surgery, what workout, what regimen, what pills, whatever you do. It doesn't matter what you do. In order for, and Dr. Anderson preaches this, in order for you to have long lasting effect on weight loss, you have to change your habits. There is no way to sustain that without changing your habits. And through the program, so you're asking, so what changed? Like, what happened? It's my habits. My habits changed.
Okay.
And our program is so structured. So when I'm talking to clients and they're like, all right, so, after they tell me their goals and what they want to accomplish, I say, all right, so I recommend a program, because that's not a one size fits all. Different people have different goals.
Right.
So I tell them, all right, so I think, for you, I think this should be the best program. And there's our premier program. We call it a 5-in-1. So what you're doing is you're having some sort of fueling every 2 to 3 hours, 6 times a day. It's structured, so it just works. And you can, I guess people say, well, is it like a keto diet? It's not like a keto diet. With a ketogenic regimen, what ends up happening is you have a low amount of carbohydrates and you rely on your stored body fat. So we do,
right.
yeah. So we do a version of that where you get all the benefits of a ketogenic regimen with none of the big side effects. When I did an Atkins, the Atkins regimen,
right.
I was lethargic. I was tired. I had really bad body odor.
You didn't have the food. You didn't have the energy. And right. Okay.
I was always foggy and just, again, just lethargic.
Yeah.
So with our program, so your body takes about 4 days to deplete your all of your liver, your muscles of glycogen. Once your body is depleted of glycogen, once it's gone through all of the reserves and wherever you're at, the next biggest fuel source is your body fat.
Right.
So it takes about 4 days, 5 days for your body to do that. So in my journey, on the 6th days when it happened, and man, I'm telling you, bro, I thought they were BSing me. I thought they were like, you're going to get into fat burn mode. And I was like, okay, whatever, fat burn mode. I was like, whatever, dude. If this is going to help me lose weight, I don't care what I do. Let's just do it. Right. So on the 6th day, man, my cravings went away.
Right.
My hunger was reduced. And man, I just had this like zing energy. I was like, man, I'm ready to do this. I ended up washing my 2 cars, mowing my front lawn, mowing my back lawn, cleaning the living room. I mean, I felt phenomenal.
Nice.
And
That's
I
awesome.
called my health coach and I was like, dude, I feel so good, man. I'm going to go for a run. He was like, oh, hold on.
Slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Calm your ass down. Yeah, calm your ass down. Bring it back down. And I was like, dude, this is gonna be like a synergistic effect. I'm so excited. He was like, dude, calm down. Your body's not gonna work like that. We're more food based versus workout based. So focus on that. Let your body do what it naturally can do, and then we can talk about working out and all that.
Right.
So that's, to answer your question, man. That's what happened, man.
That's awesome.
I guess the 4 components. The first one was having my health coach. Definitely was a big pillar.
Very important.
The second was, so with our program, Dr. Anderson built what he calls a habits of health system.
Okay.
That was vital.
Okay.
Community. We have an online community on Facebook that's private. It's only for our clients, where you see hundreds of people. And when he put me into this group, I just kept on seeing, this women losing 15, 16 pounds in a month. And I'm like, dude. So I asked him, I said, hey man, these people are losing all this kind of weight. Well, I want to do what they're doing.
Right.
Like, what is that? And then he was like, that's the program you're going to be doing. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in, dude. So
let's do it now. Let's do it right now.
Let's do it now, man. I want to do it right freaking now.
I don't want to wait.
But it's literally my answer that day when I wanted. I was like, I want to go right now. But anyways,
I don't want to wait a month. I don't want to wait.
I don't want to wait a month. Let's just do it right now.
Right.
So
So
again,
health
health
coach,
coach,
changing habits.
community, and then the fourth component is our fuelings that are, across the board are anywhere from 110 to 100 to 110. It's literally what your body needs to just be fueled.
Okay.
Again, once your body takes about 4 days for your body to be depleted from glycogen all over your body, then it taps to your biggest fuel source. And when you're overweight or have fat, when you're fat, for lack of a better word, your body taps into that source, and that's where your energy comes from. Now, a lot of people, you'll look at like, oh, calories burned. Well, there's also the other side, your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. So what your at the baseline, what your body burns every day to, to breathe, to see, to walk, all these calories that are not necessarily being counted as like when you step. When you go for a 2 mile walk, it says that you've, burned up 1,000 calories, 1,500 calories, whatever the case might be. Well, this is the other side of it, because one of the biggest, where your body burns the most calories at is in digestion. When digestion happens, a lot of calories are burnt just to make that happen. So in reality, when someone says, oh, well, I'm doing a regimen, whatever, my caloric intake is like 1,200 calories, whatever the case might be. In reality, you got to look at also what your body does naturally, what your BMR is, your basal metabolic rate. And that's something that, we take into consideration when people are doing this program. But,
and a lot of people don't think about that. They don't think about that. They just think about the calories. Calories burnt. That's what they think about mostly, for the most part anyway.
And, Dr. Anderson talks about this in his new book, Habits of Health 2.0. He's upgraded. All the information that he had before this was 10 years in the making, and 10 years, things have changed. Nothing stays the same. So he came out with another health system, and he says, look, and I so hardly believe it, man. And I'm so glad that he says it. The calories in, calories out it's not the same. And I'll tell you why. When you take someone that weighs 300 plus pounds, and I know that people might even say like, oh, this guy's bullshit. Like, no, hell no. Maybe some even personal trainers in my watches might critique on this, and I'm okay with that. When you put a 300 plus pound person to do what a CrossFit person does, I promise you the results will not be the same ever. No fucking way, man.
No fucking way.
I've done CrossFit and I did not get the same results as my buddy Paul, that was 170 pounds, ripped like a motherfucker, same height.
Yeah,
there's just no way, man. And that's what people fail to realize when they go into the gym. They think that, and that's okay. Look, obviously, having a lifestyle, a active lifestyle, and being healthy comes with weightlifting, comes with all these different exercise. I get that. I'm not discounted. I recommend that. I encourage that. But when you are on the other end of the spectrum, morbidly obese, like these trainers, man, have them do some crazy shit. You should not be having someone that big. That's dangerous, man.
You can actually injure yourself by following
the impacts that people have on their knees, dude, just every time they jump, it's not the same impact that a 170-pound person has versus a 300-pound person, man.
Right, because you got 300 pounds that are actually just impact.
Yeah, and
you know, 70-pound person.
To better illustrate where I used to be, how big I used to be, I don't know if you could see that right there.
Yeah, I remember that, Jesse.
Yep, that was me right there, 300 pounds in all my glory. But to be even more vivid, here is a shirt that I used to wear, and I never used this shirt.
I think I remember that shirt.
It's I don't know if you can see right there, man. It's a 3X.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it, but anyways, just so you can see how this fit me. Let me just bring this up a little. Let's see if I can do this here.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't mind my book library. But do you see that there?
Yeah.
Are you able to see that? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a 3X shirt that I used to wear.
Yeah.
And obviously it no longer fits me. And to be even more vivid,
the good old pants.
The good old pants that you and I celebrated New Year's with for Dustin when we went to Dustin's house.
Right.
Remember that party?
I do remember that party, yeah.
I wore these pants.
Wow.
Because I had just finished working out and I forgot my pants at home. So I had to go into Target and buy these Wranglers. And these are a waist 46-30. I don't know if you can see that there.
Wow.
You see that there?
46-30, I see it.
Yep. So these guys used to fit me, man. I went from a waist 46 to a waist 34.
Wow.
So it's
fucking incredible, dude. Oh my god, it's fucking incredible.
It's been
shit, dude. I didn't know that you actually went down from a 46 to a 34.
Man.
That's fucking incredible. Wow.
It's just, man, it's just such a, I remember one of our close friends, Caesar, once told me, he said, Jay, one day you're going to realize you're going to have to think back of when you used to be big. And this was when I was not, I was bigger.
Yeah.
And he was like, one day when you tell people that you used to be over 300 pounds, they're not going to believe you. And I'm like, whatever, dude. I'm pretty fat right now, fucker. But
and they don't believe you.
They don't believe me, man.
They don't believe you with the tell.
They don't believe me, man.
Yeah. I can imagine.
They're like,
I can imagine.
What? I'm like, yeah. So I have to bring out these props to be like, yeah, man.
Wow.
I've been interviewed a few times with other different health coaches, just because my story, and I guess people always want to know what was it, willpower? How did I stick to it? You know what, man? I saw results.
Right.
I saw results, man, and I was consistent, and I followed everything to a T. Here's the thing. Here's what I've learned, man. Programs work. It's people that sometimes don't work the programs, and that's why they come to the conclusion that, oh, well, it doesn't work. Well, did you really run it, or did you just kind of half-ass it? Because as I tell my clients, man, half-ass efforts are going to get you half-ass results.
Right.
Full effort will get you full results.
And usually it's people usually always blame the program. Typically,
it didn't work.
It wasn't for me. It just was. Something was wrong with the program, but a lot of it is just your own self is sticking to the program.
Man, and now
you were successful,
I was successful, and now that I'm on the other side as a health coach, that I get to help people. I
don't know if the listeners know that you are a health coach now.
Yes, I got certified.
You are a health coach. You are now helping other people, and that's another thing that I wanted to talk to you about, because on your Instagram, a lot of your posts are about other people and their before and afters. And each time you post that, it's really inspirational to see that my friend, the guy that I've known for over 20 years, who had his own issues with weight, who struggled, who had his challenges, I see him now helping others. And that right there is just really, really fucking inspiring to see every single picture. Every time you post a picture, whether it's a mom, a dad, a husband, I look at that picture and I think to myself, like, fuck, Jesse just helped another person. Fucking dope. So it's like really an inspiration for people to not only hear your story, but to now that you're actually helping others, which is fucking unbelievable. It's great, man.
Dude, they say the proof is in the pudding, and the program that we coach to and that we teach to our clients, man, it works. You don't necessarily need to just nail this and just be. Look, man, if you just follow simple steps, man, even if there's, I had an experience today, unfortunately, where I was too lax on my coaching with a friend of mine. And I kind of, you got this, you got this. And that was just a great lesson for me today to learn that sometimes, man, I have to be a little more consistent and make sure that the person is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Ultimately, it's everyone's journey, but sometimes some people just need a little more accountability. I'm not a drill sergeant. I'm not a savior. I'm a simple guide. I can't do this journey for people. People definitely have to do it. And I love the fact that I was able to, I was smart enough to pay it forward. In the beginning, it definitely was more of a financial thing. I was thinking, well, I could make a couple of bucks, but then a couple of bucks turn into 100, and then 100, 200, then 300, then 600, then 800, then 1,000, then 1,500, then 1,800, then 2,000. And it's like Zig Ziglar says, man, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll eventually get to where you want. And
Well said. Well
I,
said.
I think that's so true, especially with, I mean, dude, you look at the statistics, and this is not me. This is not me making up numbers, man. In America, we have 70 million overweight or obese people. And
Right.
so you can see where the trend of this is going. 19 million of these people, obese people, are kids from the age of 2 to 18.
It's a huge fucking problem, man.
It's an epidemic,
It
man.
is. It definitely is.
And if I go back to this, and I try to really drill this to people, is if you can just change your habits, you will see results. But you have to stay true to what's helped you get there. Like I can't go back.
Would that be? Because my next question is, what kind of advice can you give someone out there that is having issues with their weight, that used to be that Jesse from
All right.
2013? What kind of advice can you give that person?
So if if what I'm saying can resonate with anyone, and they're really serious about getting their health back, they want to get the reins back of their health, then I would say, hey, listen, you know what? You can contact me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on all the social media platforms, and I'm sure you'll probably put a link on your down here or somewhere like that. But if you're more on the, well, I hear what you're saying, Jay, but I don't know where to start. I just gave you where to start. If you're more like, well, I'm kind of over here. All right, I'll meet you where you're at. So these are some of the things that have been foundations for me. Definitely drinking water. A lot of people don't know, but when you pee, some of your body fat goes in through there, through our.
Drink soda. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't. I
Soda.
traded up soda. I traded up my soda for carbonated drinks, or just I like carbonated water,
The
sparkling water.
bubblies. The bubblies. You like the
That's
fucking
it. I like the carbonation. Or every day I strive to drink at least 100 ounces of water a day.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, there's so many benefits just drinking water, not just going to pee all the time, but it actually cleans your body. It gets your organs started in the morning. So I always recommend in the AM when you wake up, drink at least 2 glasses of water, which is 16 ounces. It's super doable. I do about 16 to 20 ounces when I first get up. Boom, chug it down, and then your body starts running on that. Or the other side is you can drink water until it gets clear. When it gets clear, you know that you're doing good.
You're good. I think that's what Mama tells all of us.
You should feel proud of yourself.
Yeah. What actually? Who inspires you now? Is there? What inspires you to get up every morning and continue to help people? Because it seems like that's the path you're on right now. You know.
Seeing people's lives change, man, and I'm not just talking about in the form of a health, them getting their health back. But when people tell me, oh, your program is a diet. Okay, you know what? Let's call a spade for what it is. Fine, it's a diet.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than that, man. It supersedes every aspect of any diet regimen that's out there, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm being biased because it is a program that I coach to for. But it just the not just only the physical weight that's happened to me, the mental aptitude, my mental ability, my mental clarity
The
has
confidence.
changed. The confidence that comes with it, exactly.
Huge difference, dude. From when I first met you to today, your confidence is through the roof. It really is. And that's
Because I don't have to hide.
and I've never really said this to you. I think maybe I have, but I'm really fucking proud of you, dude. It's
Thank
like,
you, man.
you know, we look at inspiration from you know, most people find it in books. Some people find it with big self, you know, gurus that are out there. But sometimes when you have your own friends, they can also serve as an inspiration. And you've been an inspiration to me, man, because I've seen where you were at. You know, I was a part of your journey in a sense where I was trying to help you, and you found your own way, and now you're helping others and inspiring others. So it's amazing, man. It's an amazing story, an amazing journey. You know,
Man, it's just the way that things have panned out for me, man. And like I said, it's been something amazing for me to be able to pay it forward to other people that have been struggling.
That's awesome.
You know, and you know, I go back to saying, like, if you're serious about getting your health in check, being able to get a grip on that, you know, it takes one to know one. And not to take anything away from personal trainers or anything like that. I think what they do is great. But unless you've been in my position, unless you've been overweight in your life, you cannot possibly explain. It's like men trying to explain to women how to give birth and how that feels. We've never given birth. We could never relate to that or understand what the pains and what happens. So unless you've been there, man, like, you can't possibly know how it feels, how good it feels to be able to bend down and actually be able to tie my shoe, to not have to find something and prop my foot on and then breathe out and move your leg because your stomach is so big that you just can't go from point A to point B, man. It's just, or, you know, going into the restroom and going, you know, doing your thing. It no longer is a production for me. It used to be like, hey guys, I'll see you in like 15 minutes. I got to go in here and take care of this. Because that's, you know, when you're bigger, you can't get around things very comfortable. So you got to figure it out. And that's, you know, again, these things that, you know, some people might be like, whoa, bro, it's TMI. But it's the truth, man. It's definitely the truth. You cannot possibly explain to someone what it is to be overweight if you've never been there, man. Like, it makes no sense to me. So, you know, again, that's something
that's food for thought right there. So
yeah, man. Yeah, it is definitely food for thought, man. You know, again, if anyone, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So what's next for you, dude? What's next on your path, dude?
You know, man, I like where I'm at, but I could definitely. I've been at both ends of this. Right now, I'm teeter-tottering around the 230s or 240s. I've been staying in that for the last 2 years.
Are you looking to stay there, or are you looking to drop a little bit more weight?
You know what, man? I'm actually looking to drop a little more weight, man. Okay. I had a goal a long time ago to get down to 171 because from 301 to 171 was 130 pounds. So that was my goal. I want to do that. Then when I got to about 211, I was like, man, this feels good. So now I want to drop down to about, I'm going to say the low 200s or the high 190s. Okay. I haven't been that weight since high school. So I want to give that a try and see how I feel there. See if any of my mobility improves in volleyball or anything like that. And
you're gonna be like Milton pretty soon. If you drop that far down.
Oh man.
Milton and Stanley, that's on another level of shit talking.
Yeah. Those guys are crazy, man.
Be careful what you wish for.
I know, right? Jeez, man, I don't have to be competition with those guys. But, you know, I love now that I've been able to bring on people on my team to help me with this mission of getting America healthy, man. Getting these people as healthy as possible so they can get off medications, man. And not that medications are
bad.
Look, sometimes they're needed, and I get it. But if we can do it naturally, if we can get some of that visceral fat off their body, man, that's a huge, huge win.
You dropped a big golden nugget, and you said all I want to do is make America healthy.
That's it.
That's deep.
It's
You don't want to make America great again. You want to make America healthy.
exactly. I mean, hey, people have different beliefs of what they want to do with America. I rather make America great by making them healthy again.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So tell the listeners where can they find you? Social media platform. Just drop it right now, dude.
Yeah.
Anybody that's listening to this that's interested, that wants to reach out to you, that's having some challenges in their own life as far as losing weight, where can they find Jesse? Drop your social media, man.
You got it. So they can find me on Facebook, and I'm under Jesse J Navarrete, and that's JESSE JAY Navarrete NAVARRETE. Usually, when you put Jesse J and then start with an N, it already links me up, and you can't miss it. It's me and my before and after. I think I'm all in white or so, but you can find me there, or you can find me on Instagram at Way Less with Jess, and just the way it sounds, Way Less with Jess.
Okay.
I think it's Way Less with Jess 80. I can't remember right now, but I know it's under Way Less with Jess. I can shoot you the link, and they can just see it under there. But
awesome.
You can find me on those platforms, man. And like I said, if it just takes one decision, man. We're always one decision from a completely different life. And that happened to me April 1st of 2014. I made the decision that I was going to stick with it, through and through, whatever it took, rain or sunshine, I was going to stick to it, and stick to it I did. And I ended up losing 90 pounds in 80 months. So it's possible for you. It's possible for anyone that wants to get their health back. The last thing that I want to leave the listeners with is that the best time is now, the best place is here, and the best person for it is you. That's just, so literally run with it. If you have, and I mean, let alone our segment with you and myself, but all the other stories that you have on here, man, just bring value to your life. And if you can take away one simple nugget that can take you to the next level, man, it's worth your time. It's worth the investment. It's worth you listening through, an hour or so of a podcast, of an interview. And like I said, the best time you're now, the best person for it is you, and the best place is here. Rock and roll with it.
Well said, brother. And that's where we'll end it. Thank you.
Awesome.
For part of the show, brother.
You got it, man. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother.
All right, man.